Oh, the pet hole. We all have them. Some of us love them, some of us don't. Stick with me. We're going to go on a journey to find 10 magical holes with a spider stuffed inside somewhere.
I need to get this right to don't want another visit from those mercs. On the 10th day of Christmas, Eerie Arachnids gives to thee 10 pet holes.
Okay, so you may not see a spider. You may see a spider, but you probably won't. You'll probably see some holes. You're probably going to see some dirt. But I thought I'd show you guys 10 of the pet holes that I have here at Eerie Arachnids. Most of them are probably going to be old world species. And there's a few that are new world species. But we're going to start out with the one that was in the little crazy clip I did in the beginning. This is the Cereopagopas albostriatus, the ratchetberry locale, I think that is. Just a small sling. It's in like a 30-dram vial. Very, very active at the bottom of its enclosure, as you can see down there. See it? But not very active on the top. So I'm going to feed this one because it molted not too long ago, and it's been a while since we've fed it. I don't know if it'll come up. It usually waits for the prey to come all the way down. This is one of the laziest spiders I have, but I can't wait till it gets bigger. You know, and these don't need a ton of actual, you know, floor space, as they do need depth. And you know, you can have one of these that just makes a hole because they don't really need to come out of it, you know. I mean, a lot of people will because they want to see them come out and walk around, but you don't really need a ton of room for them. You know, if you give them 3 inches around their hole to just come out and walk around if they need to, that's plenty of space. But give them enough dirt to dig in and they'll be happy. You can see this one maintains moisture pretty well. You can see the silk line tube all the way up, which holds the structure. There's that one. Is the main one, but he does have another entrance here somewhere. It might actually just connect into that one. I'm not sure, but there's 3 different holes that he has, or she has in here. So yeah, a pet hole, and this is the first of 10. Okay, so the second, I forgot to turn the flash on. I wanted to try Andrew's trick on using the flash on the camera while I film for these pet holes, but I forgot. This is the Ceratojaris marshalli. Most of your baboon species are going to be a fossorial or pet holes. You can see, you really can't even see where the hole is, but it's right there behind the leaf. We're going to throw a little cricket in there and see if this little marshalli might want to come out and have a bite to eat. Again, most of your Asian species burrow. And why do they burrow? It's to escape predators and escape heat. The incessant heat that they have there is enough to make me would want to dig down to a cooler spot in the earth. This one's been doing well. This is one of the 2 marshallis I have. I have one in a baseball cube up top too. So yeah, I love the Ceratojaris genus itself. This one is kind of he's behind the sticker. They always go behind the sticker. It's almost like they know we can't see them. But the whole point of this is really just to see pet holes, and they'll get better as we go. You'll see here in a second. But this was number 2. Okay, so yes, the flash does work a lot better on these little sling containers. So this is the Ephebopus udamen, the emerald skeleton. As you can see, this one is also a digger. We'll see if this one might be interested in coming up. Yep, it does. Wants the cricket. Take it down below. Beautiful, beautiful species. We're going to move this one soon. It's still kind of small, as you can see. We'll see if you can see it over here. There it is right there. Not super big, so it's still got, you know, plenty of time in here if I wanted to keep it in here. And we probably will for a little bit because it's set up, it's comfortable. And this is the one that I got from my friend at the mall. Picked this up in Buffalo for me from Arachnoid. I think his name is Steve. Great sellers. Got a lot of great species. He's up in the, I'm not quite sure where he lives, but he does go to like the Hamburg shows and, you know, Buffalo and probably some of the New York shows and shows in Connecticut and places like that. So he's all around that area. So third pet hole is the Ephebopus udaman. Okay, so I would definitely be remiss if I didn't put a Pteranachilus in here, and you can see where that webbing is moving. The spider is underneath there in the middle, but this is this the Mozambique or, nope, this is a Pteranachilus marinus tete. This is one of the three that I have. This one is an absolute digger. You could see it's spiraled all the way around the outside, down through the middle, and it's made, this whole entire web design. But again, another baboon species that is a absolute 100% pet hole. It was actually just out, so I know that they're probably hungry, so we're going to feed them later. But yeah, pet hole number 4, Pteranachilus marinus tete. Again, this is more of you guys seeing just the enclosures and what they actually do, and you can see the amount of webbing that they do. Absolutely tied everything down inside there, so they know every little thing that's moving around in there. So yeah, Pteranachilus marinus tete, and I believe this is number 2 of the 3 that I have. So 1 and 3 are in different enclosures. This one will be due for an enclosure upgrade too. Not sure what I'm going to put it in yet, but I definitely want to get this one out. And my Lugardi, which may be in this video or may not be. Okay, the 5th pet hole. This one's done a really good job, as you can see. This is the Cereopagabus species Hotty Hotty. One of my favorite Asian tarantulas that I have in my collection. Hotty Hotty means danger, danger in whatever language that is. I'm not sure exactly, is that Malaysian? So you've got to be careful with these ones, but they're pretty shy. Now this one is, it does come out every night, sit at the top of the burrow. Whether it's eaten or it hasn't eaten, it still tends to do that. When it stops doing that, I know it's in pre-molt. So that's kind of an idea of how I know. It's starting to get some size, and I would imagine that it may have one more molt left in this enclosure. After that, we're going to have to bump it up into something a little bit bigger. So, yeah, the Cereopagabus species Hotty Hotty is the 5th of 10 pet holes for today's 10 Days of Christmas. Okay, guys, so look at this one. This is the penultimate jar of dirt. This is about a 7.5-inch depth, maybe even a tad bit deeper. I'm trying to think, those are 7 inches. This is probably like 8 or 9 inches tall, this pretzel container. And it is pretty much packed to the brim on this side. And you could see where all the dirt came from. And what do we have inside? Anaphonopelma simoni. So I know some people, they buy simonis and they keep them, with like a little half round thing, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm not saying that that's wrong. It's not wrong whatsoever. But they will dig if you give them the opportunity to. They love to be underground. They find a gradient where they're comfortable. This one started out with a burrow here. So it came down, it just kind of built like a belly here. And then as the temperature started to increase here, it dug down further, which really didn't change much of anything because, in the summertime it gets rather warm here in the room. So they do get, now they really can't escape the heat too much. They can't dig down, they can't crawl out. They just kind of find a place where they feel more secure. And this guy here likes to be down here. Very rarely do I ever see him up top. We do need to saturate this a little bit. I've been debating on whether to move him out of there or not, but so far I haven't. So this is the 6th of the 10 pet holes that we have here, and there's actually way more than 10, trust me. Okay, so this is the 7th pet hole. This is the Catopelma olivatium. The Israeli black is the first and original, the first name that I've ever heard it called, but I think there's some other names that it's been called. I really can't remember them all. But this guy is never out. And these live in different types of situations in the wild. They will live in like rock crevices, like rock walls, where the mortar joints are coming out. They'll climb up there and they'll use those as burrows. And they're known to be in the pine forests of Cyprus. So we got some pine needles and put it in here just to kind of replicate that. Not that the spider knew any different, but just to kind of represent a natural habitat for them. And I made a starter burrow for it, and it used it, and then it just dug another little entrance over there. As you can see, this entrance right there and entrance right there. But I have not seen this spider come out since I put it in here. I give this guy a soaking down, or girl, probably about every 2 weeks. I don't have a water dish in here because I do the soaking, and then we just throw a roach or whatever in, and it disappears. I don't see it ever come out to grab prey. When it was in a smaller enclosure, it was hell to feed because it wanted to get out all the time. Now that I put it in here, I never see it. I mean, literally, I've not seen it in months. So definitely one of the pet holes that I have that spiders just don't come out of, period. Okay, so number 8, you're actually getting a treat. This is the Eerie Mira. This one lost its way. It doesn't remember where its entrance to its home is, so it's kind of staying on top. This is one of the really the only real true trapdoor tarantula, as they say, quote unquote. I haven't seen that one with this one. My other one definitely does have a little trapdoor. This one just kind of has a burrow, and it just comes flying out of that burrow when there's prey in there. It's been out pretty much for the last day or two, which generally to me I found is not a good sign with Eerie Mira, because when they aren't down below as much, it seems like they pass away. That's what happened with my last female that I had, and one of the slings that I had did the same exact thing. It surfaced and stayed up there and then passed. So I'm hoping this little guy will go down. We're gonna like give it some water, soak it up a little bit, and see what happens. So this is number 8, the Eerie Mira, the blue-footed baboon. Okay, so the last two we're going to freehand a little bit, and this one you're not going to see with the flash. So way down inside there is a female Cereopagopus. We're not sure if this is a Paganus or a Von Worthy. People are saying it's more likely a Von Worthy, but I'm not 100% positive. We won't be breeding this gal, so it's not all that big of a deal. This is just one of those Asian species that you want. You can see we need to saturate this girl with water. But she comes out at night. She crawls around the sides of her enclosure. So tonight's going to be feeding night for her. So hopefully she'll get all excited. We'll put a nice big fat roach in there for her and see if she'll come out and eat it. So we'll try and film the feeding. But I'm not all that positive because I have yet to get this one to feed on film. So the number 9 out of 10 pet holes here on the 10th day of Christmas is the Cereopagopus Paganus / Von Worthy. Okay, focus for me there. As you can see, this lovely section of webbing that we've done here. When I first got into the hobby really heavy, when I thought of pet holes, this is the first one that always came to mind. And this is the Cereopagopus lividus, the cobalt blue. This is a female. I haven't seen her out in I can't tell you how long. She doesn't generally like to come out, so what I end up doing is we'll throw a worm there and it'll wiggle around. She'll start to come up and then the worm will fall in there. She'll eat it, she won't come out. I just really would love to get her out here to see her in her full beauty. She's still juvenile, she's not full grown, but this will be her forever home. We may add dirt to it just to give it a little bit more depth, maybe, you know, fill in all the way up to the area where there's webbing. Give it another couple inches here. You can see the cup needs to be changed. Yeah, we're on the Asian, this is the weekend, well, the coming up weekend would be I always call my Asian soak down. So, you know, like the Orphanacus philippinus, the Oreotibialis, this gal here, the Paganus, any of the Asian species that are, you know, more likely to be in a more humid or damp atmosphere or environment, they get a total soak down. Not to the point where it's flooding down below, but enough that the bottom layers of dirt, a few 4 or 5 inches that they have, or, you know, at least 2/3 of their dirt is going to be wet on the bottom. Now, of course, it's going to be wet on the top because that's where you're soaking. But when I do these guys, I always saturate around the corners. And then I watch down here. You could watch down. This isn't mold. This is sand, by the way. You could watch. You could see how this level down here is still damp. So her level, her area down below is still good, where the upper part is dry. So if it's like this, odds are I probably won't wet it down because it's probably going to be like that. Yeah, you can see all the way across. With the sand, and there's a bit of vermiculite in here. With the sand helps filter the water through the dirt, and the vermiculite will help hold the moisture. And this is that jungle mix, and there's a little reptisoil in here, and a little of that Burpee's cocoa core that I used before. This was kind of a mixture of the three, but you can see what happens when it dries out. Okay, this is what it looks like. It'll pull away from the edges because it dries out and shrinks, almost like a brick. And it'll crack, and it'll look just like, you know, if you think of dried mud beds, you'll get that in here. Just not as, it won't look like mud beds, of course, but So yeah, that's the number one. I always say the number one pet hole. This one and the king baboon of the Plynibus muticus. I do not have one of those, so I really can't show you that one. Another one, you know, that I waver back and forth. I've had one. Never got it sexed. Lived for about a year and then just passed away. I found it dead underneath the dirt. It was, you could tell just by the way it looked that it was dead. It was all curled in sideways, and you know, the burrow entrance was always open. You know, I took Tom Moran's advice and made sure that the burrow entrance was open. We would just throw food down there and you would see it feed on the bottom. And then one day I went to do that and the spider never moved, and I looked at it, I was like, oh man. I dug her up and she was dead. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed the day 10. Geez, I can't talk. I'm trying to hurry up because I have to leave to go get my wife. The 10th day of Christmas here at Eerie Arachnids. We still have 9 through 1. Yeah, trying to figure that out in my head. I don't know why I couldn't figure it out. But so stick with me through this. I hope you guys enjoy this. The last day is going to be kind of special. I hope you guys will enjoy the last day. I know that it's been a pain for me because it's hard for me to do what I'm trying to do with that, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video, and till then, well, till tomorrow, happy keeping.